outside.
DJ Academics drops more news about Little Durk following up what happened on Sunday in his house. So he said that they entered from the woods, they came in through the woods, and also the people that live in the neighborhood, because it's like a rich neighborhood and stuff like that, they are mad at Little Durk, and they were all conversating in this chat about him and talking about he's a thug, he has a lot of enemies, he is the problem. I was like, they all teamed up in this chat, and the people who lived in that neighborhood, and decided that, you know, like, Little Durk is a problem and he's becoming a problem to them type thing. They were all unhappy about the situation that happened. So this is the thing with Little Durk. Like, Little Durk, obviously he has all this stuff going on, all this cases going on, this and that. I don't know how it all just started happening now, but he's been in the industry and stuff like that, and obviously he had these things with him that's been going on for years now. So how has he managed to cover it up and all them stuff wasn't happening? So it all happens because all of them that live in the neighborhood got the letter saying that there was an incident down the road and it's all been investigation and everything, and they all managed to that it was actually Little Durk, and they're trying to put him down as a victim, but the people are saying in the chat that he's not a victim, he's actually the problem, he's not a victim. So it's crazy that they're actually against him, and how all of a sudden he's living in this neighborhood that it just sounds like, you know, no one really knew about him and stuff like that. Because in the chat they were actually like who's this person we're talking about, and then they were like, oh, Little Durk, and then they had to look him up, and then they were sharing Wikipedia pages and stuff. So it's all weird, it's getting down, they're actually cracking down him, and now they're starting to make people turn against him and starting to look at him as a different person. So, oh, white people I was talking about him can go and look up all this stuff and see all the stuff about him, but then he tries to put in people's head that he hangs around them and he tries to help them and he tries to change them and tries to do all this stuff and try to make it look like he is the good person. He's actually in it and he is the cause of it. Like they were saying in the chat, he is the cause of the situation. He is actually the problem. He is the cause of the situation. And it's funny they would say that because that's what it looks like. It's like, you know, he tries to make it look like, oh, he's not part of it and he's only around them and he's only hanging around them to help them. But now people can actually see what's going on. But they mentioned his brother in the chat by saying that the rapper who was connected to him died back in November, and then his brother died of dead stuff. So they all know what's going on, and it looks like they are all watching him and all just, if you ask me, like, for laughing stuff and kind of really think like, yeah, this problem is actually going to continue, and I feel like they are going to start writing and doing all this stuff and try to get him out of the neighborhood, and he's going to move because that's what's going to happen now. I mean, they already know his location. How did you know the location? Because people are saying that it could have been a friend who actually sold him out, who actually gave up his low to people who tried to come and take him out, who actually went to his house that day. Academics said that them people came through the backwoods, they came through the woods and tried to get him. So it's kind of reminding me of like the Pop Smoke situation, and then Pop Smoke, and then DJ Academics said that he's going to go live. His Pop Smoke album is dropping. The Pop Smoke situation, because that's what they did and stuff here, and they were all sitting on the cameras and stuff. So them coming through the backwoods and stuff, like, how did they even know his address to actually go the right place and going through the woods and do stuff like that? So that means they had this all planned and spoke with people who gave them the load and actually mapped it out and get into the back, and then they actually went to the right place where they fired shots and that, but nothing happened. Thank God nothing didn't happen to Little Durk. And then the police started come over and they started investigating Little Durk, and they started raiding Little Durk and stuff. Well, possibly raided them and stuff like that, because DJ Academics said he don't know if they actually raided him, but they possibly raided him in connection to other crimes and that crime that happened there on the night. These white people actually in this chat now saying about Little Durk and saying and putting up his Wikipedia and stuff and putting up the Van situation and putting up D thing, his little brother and all of it, and talking about all this stuff. So it's getting to the point where, you know, I mean, at this point, like, he's going to move very soon, and he has to do it very soon, where you have to move to stay in the same place because they already know his location. So that's crazy that he even was around people in that side, because if they know his location, then that's when I will get back to people that's rival with him, that don't like him and stuff like that, and wants to take him out, that actually don't like him and wants to take him out, knowing exactly where, or how would that information get back to people? And it just seems bad and on them. It feels like someone actually gave out his location, and it was possibly could have been someone who he was close to, who he known, who actually is around him, probably still around him, gave out his location. It also sounds like he was there when they actually came, but for some reason the shots went off and stuff like that, like they literally just fired from a distance. That's what it actually sounds like. But I feel like it literally could have been a Pop Smoke situation, to where we actually heard the news about Little Durk, who is out there that would actually want Little Durk and who's rather Little Durk and stuff, because as far as I know, he's not part of it, he doesn't do anything, and he helps the people that surround him. That's what he puts across to the public, that's what he comes to, that's the way I receive Little Durk, that's the way I receive Little Durk. So the fact that people are now outside his house and they are saying 100% that it was actually outside for Little Durk, they came, the shooters come for Little Durk, the unknown shooters came for Little Durk, it wasn't anyone else. There's not that many information about him on the internet when it comes to like the boys and stuff and what he's done in the past, and people are saying things here and there, but it doesn't look like anything that he should be look out for or anything like that. So it kind of feel like robbers that actually got his address, like the pops up situation, and they tried to run up in his ear to take bare things, but then he was there for some reason, and then we didn't really know what happened, because DJ Akademiks was reading off of the paper. They all got from like the people in the assembly, because it's like a gated community, and so they all got letters notifying them of the situation that happened, and basically this is what happened, not to be worried about, and if anything, please call. If you do see anything suspicious, hear anything suspicious, please call this number. And I had a number at the bottom of the letter, and then they all went in this chat and started conversating. They were all white people, and they all started looking up and doing all this stuff. And could you imagine all this stuff and hours of documentary that they watched and everything, and seeing all this stuff about Little Durk doing this and he's killing this and his homie this and King Von and bodies and stuff like that. These people will be freaked out and scared for their life, and then they'll start reporting him to the people that lives in that place. But I mean, at this point, the house is not even valid anymore, because he needs to move. He needs a different location. They already got his low is already out there, and they still haven't caught anyone for the situation, or we don't know if they did, or we don't know if they have caught anyone and stuff like that. And then the fact that DJ Akademiks released this news, no one else released this news, and people was talking about it, like, how is DJ Akademiks said that, people was talking about it, like, how is he releasing the news, but then no one else did it and stuff. Possibly that news was possibly not meant to come out, it was kind of like covered up, but then who knows, they could have actually gave DJ Akademiks this news she put out, but then he's trying to say like, no, it was Little Durk and stuff like that. If anything, they could have confirmed he's been in the game for 10 years, his source is solid, and whenever he does this something, you never heard nothing back from the response of people or something else saying he's lying or anything like that. So his information is 100% correct. Little Durk, he hasn't said nothing about it or anything. So it's funny that if it was for DJ Akademiks, we would have never known about this news. Why didn't this news go public? And there's probably other things that happened that we don't even know about that didn't go public when it comes to Little Durk and stuff like that, and what's been going on with the defense situation, because not too many people talked about the defense situation and what's actually happened and stuff like that, because that situation seems like a backdoor. Because he's been promoting all these shows, right? He's been meant to be going at all these shows and stuff like that, and he's doing a tour with him and Little Baby, so he's been promoting that. So I think the people probably thought that he wasn't going to be there, but then for some reason he was probably there. We don't know exactly if he was there, I don't know exactly if he was there, or if I don't know exactly if he was there, but what we heard from when the police came around and stuff like that, they actually questioned him, and they actually start talking to him in connection to our climate and tried to search the house.